aimgoodbook.
There was once a little girl, whose hair was so bright and yellow, that it glittered in the sun like spun gold. For this reason, she was called Goldilocks. One day, Goldilocks went out into the meadows, to gather flowers. She wandered on, and after a while, she came to a forest, where she had never been before. She went on into the forest. Presently, she came to a little house, standing all alone in the forest, and as she was tired and thirsty, she knocked at the door. She hoped the good people inside would give her a drink, and let her rest a little while. Now, though Goldilocks did not know it, this house belonged to 3 bears. There was a great big father bear. And a middling-sized mother bear. And a dear little baby bear, no bigger than Goldilocks herself. But, the 3 bears had gone out, to take a walk in the forest, while their supper was cooling, so when Goldilocks knocked at the door, no one answered her. She waited a while, and then she knocked again, and as still nobody answered her, she pushed the door open, and stepped inside. There in a row, stood 3 chairs. One was a great big chair, and it belonged to the father bear. And one was a middling-sized chair, and it belonged to the mother bear. And one was a dear little chair, and it belonged to the baby bear. And on the table, stood 3 bowls of smoking hot porridge.
And so, the people must be coming back soon to eat it.
She thought she would sit down and rest, until they came, so first, she sat down in the great big chair, but the cushion was too soft. It seemed as though it would swallow her up. Then she sat down, in the middle-sized chair, and the cushion was too hard, and it was not comfortable. Then, she sat down in the dear little chair, and it was just right, and fitted her, as though it had been made for her. So there she sat, and she rocked, and she rocked, and she sat, and she sat. Until with her rocking and her sitting, she sat the bottom right out of it. And still nobody had come, and there stood the bowls of porridge on the table.
They can't be very hungry people, or they would come home, to eat their suppers.
And she went over to the table, just to see whether the bowls were full. The first bowl was a great big bowl, with a great big wooden spoon in it, and that was the father bear's bowl. The second bowl was a middle-sized bowl, with a middle-sized wooden spoon in it, and that was the mother bear's bowl. And the third bowl was a dear little bowl, with a dear little silver spoon in it, and that was the baby bear's bowl. The porridge that was in the bowls smelled so very good that Goldilocks thought she would just taste it. She took up the great big spoon, and tasted the porridge, in the great big bowl, but it was too hot.
Ooh, it's hot!
Then, she took up the middle-sized spoon, and tasted the porridge in the middle-sized bowl, and it was too cold. Then she took up the little silver spoon, and tasted the porridge, in the dear little bowl, and it was just right, and it tasted so good that she tasted and tasted, and tasted and tasted, until she tasted it all up.
Oh, I'm so sleepy.
After that, she felt very sleepy, so she went upstairs, and looked about her, and there were 3 beds all in a row. Goldilocks lay down on the great big bed to try it, but the pillow was too high, and she wasn't comfortable at all. Then she lay down on the middle-sized bed, and the pillow was too low, and that wasn't comfortable either. Then, she lay down on the little baby bear's bed, and it was exactly right, and so very comfortable, that she lay there until she went fast asleep. Now while Goldilocks was still asleep, in the little bed, the three bears came home again, and as soon as they stepped inside the door, and looked about them, they knew that somebody had been there,